Greenland has been a hot topic recently. Everybody talks about it. In this video, I will also talk about it, but I will cover a side of Greenland rarely discussed: ethnic groups and languages. Greenland lies in the North Atlantic, geographically a part of North America, but an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. Despite being the world's largest island, its population is only around 56,000. But who are these 56,000 people? Which languages do they speak? Where do they come from? Greenland is actually more diverse than one would think. Let's check out the island's population by citizenship. The residents of Greenland who hold Danish citizenship number 54,012, making up 95% of the population. This includes both the indigenous Inuit people and ethnic Danes, as well as people with mixed ancestry. Denmark does not collect ethnic data, but estimates suggest the Inuit population is around 50,000 and ethnic Danes around 4,000. The remaining 2,400 residents are foreign nationals, people who live in Greenland but do not hold Danish citizenship. They come from many different countries, most notably the Philippines. Not many know this, but Filipinos make up around 2% of Greenland's population. We will get into the foreign nationals in detail later. To understand Greenland's modern Inuit inhabitants, we must first look back at the ancient migrations that shaped this island. For over 4,000 years, waves of Arctic peoples crossed into Greenland from North America. The first were the Sakak, arriving around 2500 BC after migrating from Siberia through Alaska and Arctic Canada. These small mobile groups hunted seals and seabirds along Greenland's coast with stone tools. DNA from frozen Sakak remains shows they were genetically distinct from today's Inuit, instead related to Siberian peoples like the Chukchi and Koryak, who live in far eastern Russia today. The Sakak disappeared around 800 BC. The Dorset culture emerged around 800 BC, sharing deep genetic ancestry with the Sakak. Both belong to the Paleo-Eskimo tradition, the first wave of Arctic peoples. The Dorset built permanent winter houses and carved intricate bone figurines. Their settlements concentrated in Greenland's remote northwest. Around 1300 AD, the Dorset vanished. Around 1200 AD, an entirely different people arrived to Greenland. The Thule people migrated from Alaska, traveling eastward across Arctic Canada before reaching Greenland. They brought revolutionary technology: dog sleds, large skin boats called umiaks, and toggling harpoons for whale hunting. These innovations allowed them to establish larger coastal settlements. Genetic studies show the Thule and Dorset did not interbreed. The Thule people completely replaced the Dorset. The Thule are the direct ancestors of today's Inuit, who now inhabit a vast territory stretching from Alaska through Canada to Greenland. Across this Arctic expanse, Inuit speak varieties of what linguists consider a single language divided along geographic lines. In Alaska, they speak Inupiaq. In Western Canada, they speak Inuvialuktun. In Eastern Canada, they speak Inuktitut. And in Greenland, they speak Kalaallisut, also known as Greenlandic. These names reflect geography, politics, and standardization, not historical branching. All these varieties descend from the same ancestral language that spread with the Thule expansion just centuries ago. These represent neighboring dialects in a continuum. Speakers in adjacent regions understand each other, but an Alaskan Inupiaq speaker and a Greenlandic speaker have a harder time communicating. All belong to the Inuit branch of the Eskimo-Aleut language family. The word Inuit means the people in these languages. But this video focuses on Greenland, so let's examine the Greenlandic situation specifically. Greenland's Inuit population today numbers roughly 50,000. Their language, Kalaallisut, is written using the Latin alphabet. The alphabet consists of 18 letters. In 1973, Greenland reformed its spelling system to match how people actually speak, making the written language much easier to learn. Including Kalaallisut, 3 Inuit dialects exist in Greenland. Kalaallisut, or West Greenlandic, has about 50,000 speakers and serves as the official standard. Tunumisut, East Greenlandic, survives with around 3,000 speakers in isolated eastern coastal towns. Inuktun, North Greenlandic, has roughly 800 speakers in the northernmost settlements and is linguistically closer to Inuktitut, the Inuit language of eastern Canada, than to Kalaallisut. These three dialects differ in pronunciation and vocabulary. Kalaallisut speakers often cannot understand Tunumisut or Inuktun without exposure. However, Tunumisut and Inuktun speakers can understand Kalaallisut because they encounter it through media, schools, and government. Kalaallisut functions as the common language connecting all Greenlanders. Kalaallisut thrives in daily life. Children learn it as their first language. Primary schools teach primarily in Kalaallisut. It dominates radio, television, and newspapers. In homes and streets, especially outside Greenland's capital city Nuuk, Kalaallisut is what you hear. Since 2009, when Greenland's government made it the sole official language, authorities have worked to strengthen its position. UNESCO still classifies Kalaallisut as vulnerable due to Greenland's small population and the dominance of Danish in higher education and professional sectors. Tunumisut faces greater danger. UNESCO labels it endangered as Kalaallisut dominates institutions, leaving Eastern speakers with minimal support. Inuktun is the most threatened of all, classified as definitely endangered, given its 800 speakers and lack of institutional presence. Inuit culture embodies centuries of Arctic survival. Seal hunting remains central. Seals provide meat, lamp oil, and skins for clothing and boats. Here's a fascinating detail. Two common English words come directly from Inuit languages. Kayak comes from Greenlandic kayak, the sleek hunting boats invented for silent approach to prey. Igloo comes from Inuktitut igloo, meaning house, referring to the snow block shelters built during harsh Arctic winters. Traditional clothing uses caribou and seal skin, engineered over generations to trap warmth in -40-degree temperatures. Communities still value country food: seal, whale, fish, birds, berries gathered from land and sea. Summer brings long hunting expeditions. Winter requires ice fishing and stored provisions. This subsistence lifestyle coexists with modern wage work, creating ongoing tensions between traditional practices and industrial schedules.
Hello, Kamnöpet. Markimik atakapunga. Kalaallisut. Ili niallunga. Kalaallisut ukyo ataso. Ili niapunga. Neli ullunga Luciano siami. Kalaallit nuna takuyamallunga lugu. Isiumakapunga. Kalaallit nuna kusanatoyusso.
In 1721, a Norwegian-Danish missionary named Hans Egede arrived in Greenland with his family and around 40 colonists. He had spent over a decade seeking permission and funding from the Danish-Norwegian crown to launch a mission to Greenland. His goal was to find descendants of the medieval Norse settlers who had mysteriously vanished from Greenland centuries earlier. He believed they might still be Catholic or even pagan, and he wanted to bring them into the Lutheran faith. Egede found no Norse survivors. Instead, he encountered the Inuit people living along the coast. He established a Lutheran mission and trading post near what is now Nuuk, Greenland's capital. This marked the beginning of Danish colonial presence in Greenland. Over the following decades, Denmark formalized its control. In 1776, the Danish government established a complete trade monopoly over Greenland, closing the coast to all foreign access. This monopoly lasted until 1950. Danish missionaries gradually converted the Inuit population to Christianity over more than 2 centuries, with the last baptisms occurring in remote areas of Greenland as late as 1934. Traditional Inuit practices like drum dances and shamanic rituals faded through this period. Greenland remained a Danish colony until 1953, when it was incorporated into Denmark as a county. In 1979, Greenland achieved home rule, gaining control over most domestic affairs, while Denmark retained control over foreign policy and defense. In 2009, the Self-Government Act took effect, making Greenlandic the sole official language and recognizing Greenlanders' right to self-determination. Despite this increasing autonomy, Greenland remains part of the Kingdom of Denmark. During the 1950s and 1960s, the Danish population in Greenland surged as Denmark sent workers for infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Today, approximately 4,000 ethnic Danes live in Greenland, concentrated in Nuuk and larger towns. They fill roles as doctors and nurses, teachers particularly at the upper secondary level, and administrators, engineers, and technical specialists around various sectors. Danish belongs to the North Germanic branch of the Indo-European language family, closely related to Norwegian and Swedish. It uses 29 letters in the Latin alphabet, including 3 additional vowels at the end, the ones that I don't dare pronounce. Despite losing official status in 2009, Danish continues playing a significant role in Greenland's institutions and professional life. Danish remains dominant in professional sectors because specialized training occurs in that language. The healthcare system operates largely in Danish. Courts use Danish extensively. Government administration runs substantially in Danish despite Greenlandic's official status. Professional terminology in medicine, law, and technology often exists only in Danish. The media operates bilingually. Greenland's national broadcaster produces programming in both languages. Newspapers publish in both Greenlandic and Danish. This creates a reality where Greenlandic is the sole official language and the language of daily life for most Greenlanders, while Danish remains essential for higher education, specialized healthcare, legal matters, and professional advancement.
Du har snart 40 år eller sådan noget, ikke? Og jeg flyttede til USA i 1980, så det er 37 år siden. Og du er stadigvæk dansk pas, hvilket betyder, at du er så dansk statsborger? Jeg er dansk statsborger. Ja. Kun dansk statsborger. Men nu har du boet her næsten 40 år. Altså, og dit liv er jo her, dine børn er her, din kone er her og alle de her ting. Hvorfor er det, du bliver ved med at holde fast i det danske? Hvis du er dansk, så er du altid dansk. Altså, det er jo ikke noget, du tjekker ud af på den måde. Det er jo ikke noget, du...
We have covered Greenland's Inuit majority and the Danish minority. That leaves the final 2,400 residents, foreign nationals who hold citizenship from countries outside Denmark. The Philippines accounts for the largest group with 1,110 people. This means Filipinos make up around 2% of Greenland's total population, nearly half of all foreign nationals. Thailand follows with 399 residents, then Sri Lanka with 118. These 3 Asian countries alone represent over 2/3 of Greenland's foreign national population. The pattern reflects Greenland's fishing industry. Fish processing accounts for over 90% of Greenland's exports. Royal Greenland, the state-owned fishing company, operates 38 processing plants along Greenland's west coast. These plants face chronic labor shortages, especially during the peak season from April to October, when cod and halibut fishing hits its height. Royal Greenland began recruiting foreign workers in 2017. The program started in China and expanded to the Philippines and other countries. Many workers arrived through chain migration, following friends or relatives who had already made the move. Beyond fish processing, Greenland also attracts workers from Nordic and European countries. Icelanders number 113, Poles 80, Swedes 79, Norwegians 65, and Germans 54. These workers fill roles across various sectors, from healthcare and education to construction and technical services. This foreign national population brings significant linguistic diversity to Greenland. The Tagalog language arrives with the Filipino community. Thai speakers form the second largest Asian language group. Sri Lankans contribute Sinhala and Tamil. Polish, Icelandic, Swedish, Norwegian, Mandarin, and German add to the mix. In total, residents of Greenland speak languages from over 40 countries, ranging from major world languages to those represented by single individuals from places like Afghanistan, Somalia, and Lebanon. English often serves as a common language among different foreign national groups working in the same facilities. Greenland has been in the headlines, but behind those headlines lies a human reality rarely discussed. This island of 56,000 people contains 3 distinct groups. 50,000 Inuit speaking Kalaallisut and its endangered dialects, 4,000 Danes whose language still dominates healthcare, education and government despite losing official status, and 2,400 foreign nationals from over 40 countries speaking dozens of languages from Tagalog to Polish to Sinhala. The world's largest island, one of Earth's most remote places, holds more linguistic and cultural diversity than most would expect. These are the people of Greenland. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.